For years, the Schengen Visa has been the golden ticket to Europe, opening the doors to over 24 countries with just one stamp. But in 2025, that golden ticket is getting harder to secure. What once felt like a routine application is now turning into a maze of stricter rules, longer waits, and higher rejection rates. If you've ever dreamed of walking the streets of Paris, exploring Rome, or experiencing the charm of Barcelona, you need to know why the Schengen Visa is no longer as simple as it used to be, and what these changes mean for you. Why getting a Schengen Visa in 2025 just got harder is a reality many travelers didn't expect to face this year. For years, Europe has been one of the most visited destinations in the world, with millions of people applying for Schengen visas to explore its rich culture, stunning architecture, and endless opportunities. But what used to feel like a straightforward process has now become more complicated, stricter, and for many applicants, more stressful. The dream of visiting countries like France, Germany, Italy, or Spain is still possible, but in 2025, the road to getting that visa has new obstacles that you need to understand before you apply. One of the biggest reasons it has become harder is the tightening of requirements. In the past, applicants could sometimes get by with minimum documentation, but now embassies and consulates are demanding more proof of stability, stronger ties to your home country, and clearer evidence of financial strength. This means that simply showing a bank statement or an employment letter may no longer be enough. Consulates want to see that you are rooted in your home country, that you won't overstay your visa, and that you have both the resources and the intent to return after your trip. For many people who don't have strong financial profiles or long-term employment records, this makes the process feel intimidating. The introduction of stricter digital systems is another major change in 2025. With new biometric checks and centralized databases, every application is being cross-verified more carefully than before. On one hand, this increases security across Europe. On the other hand, it makes it much harder for applicants to slip through with weak files or incomplete information. Every inconsistency, no matter how small, is flagged. If your documents don't match perfectly, if your travel history seems uncertain, or if your financial records raise even a slight question, your chances of rejection rise significantly. This means applicants now have to prepare with more precision than ever before. Another challenge in 2025 is the growing demand. Post-pandemic travel has exploded, and with Europe being a top destination, embassies are flooded with applications. High demand means longer waiting times, limited appointment slots, and more selective approvals. Consulates are not only stricter, they're also prioritizing travelers who can demonstrate genuine intent, solid financial backing, and consistent travel history. If you're a first-time applicant with no prior international trips, the process could feel even tougher now compared to a few years ago. Then there's the cost factor. With new systems being implemented, fees have increased, and supporting documentation often requires additional expenses. From travel insurance that covers higher amounts, to certified bank statements, to notarized letters, the cost of preparing a visa application in 2025 has gone up. While these changes are framed as security measures, they also create a financial barrier that makes it harder for budget travelers to apply. But perhaps the most significant reason Schengen visas are harder to get this year is the political and economic climate across Europe. Rising concerns about immigration, tighter border controls, and pressure to ensure that short-term visas are not misused have all led to tougher screening. Authorities want to be absolutely certain that tourists are genuine tourists, not individuals who plan to stay illegally. This mindset has influenced visa officers to scrutinize applications with more suspicion than before, which means even small mistakes can lead to rejection. For travelers, the dream of visiting Europe is still alive, but it requires a different level of preparation in 2025. You can no longer afford to treat the process casually. Every document matters, every detail counts, and every aspect of your profile will be reviewed carefully. The journey to securing a Schengen visa has become a test of not only your intent to travel but also your ability to prove responsibility, financial stability, and transparency. So while it may feel discouraging to see the process become harder, it also means that those who prepare properly and present strong, consistent applications still have a solid chance of success. The doors of Europe haven't closed, they've just become narrower. And the travelers who adapt to these changes will be the ones stepping onto European streets, exploring the world's most iconic destinations. and enjoying the experiences that a Schengen visa can unlock. What many applicants are realizing in 2025 is that getting a Schengen visa is no longer just about paperwork, it's about perception. Visa officers are trained to look beyond what you submit and interpret what your documents say about your story. For example, if you show a bank account with a sudden deposit of money right before your application, that raises questions about whether those funds are truly yours. If your employment letter looks too generic or recent, they may wonder if your job is stable or even legitimate. Even small things, like inconsistencies in your travel itinerary or not being able to explain why you chose a certain destination, can create doubts in the mind of an officer. And in today's stricter climate, even a small doubt can result in a rejection. Another subtle but important change is how embassies are now weighing travel history more heavily than ever before. If you've previously traveled to other countries and returned on time, your chances of approval increase. But for applicants with no prior stamps in their passport, the process becomes harder because you have no track record to prove that you are a responsible traveler. This has created a frustrating situation for many first-time travelers who dream of making Europe their first destination. They are often told, directly or indirectly, that it's easier to start with smaller trips to countries with more lenient visas before applying for Schengen. While this may feel discouraging, it reflects the reality of how consulates now assess risk. Delays are another reality that has worsened in 2025. Long waiting lists for appointments, extended processing times, and sudden backlogs are causing stress for travelers who want to plan their trips months in advance. In some cases, even after waiting weeks for an appointment, applicants face rejection because of a minor issue. Imagine booking flights, reserving hotels, and making travel plans, only to be denied because of a small oversight in your documentation. This emotional rollercoaster is becoming more common, and it's teaching applicants that patience and attention to detail are non-negotiable in this new environment. It's also worth noting how digitalization has changed the game. While online systems make it easier to apply in some ways, they also leave no room for error. Every field must be filled in with absolute accuracy, and once submitted, small mistakes are harder to correct. Unlike in the past, when you might explain something during an interview, now many decisions are made based on the data you input into the system. A single typo in your passport number, an incorrect date, or a mismatched address can create confusion that leads to delays or outright rejections. Technology has made the system stricter and less forgiving. What applicants need to understand in 2025 is that embassies are not just issuing visas, they are filtering people. They are selecting travelers who they believe will benefit their country's tourism industry without posing any risk of overstaying. This means that, whether you realize it or not, you are being judged not only on your documents but on your lifestyle, your choices, and your ability to demonstrate trustworthiness. Those who understand this reality and prepare accordingly will stand out, while those who take the process lightly will continue to face rejection. In the end, the harder visa process isn't meant to close Europe off completely, but to ensure that only the most prepared and responsible applicants are allowed in. And for travelers who are willing to do the work, gather the right documents, and present a clear and convincing case, Europe is still waiting to be explored. The dream is alive, but it now demands more effort, more clarity, and more persistence than ever before. So if Europe is on your travel bucket list, don't let these new challenges catch you off guard. The Schengen visa is still possible, but only for those who prepare smart, stay informed, and adapt to the new rules of the game. If this breakdown helped you understand what's happening in 2025, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more travel and visa insights, and share this with a friend who's planning their European adventure. Your dream trip is still waiting, but only if you play it right.